All right, this is for sure everyone's most highly requested video that they've wanted me to do for a long time. So we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about what is the best CRM specifically for lead follow-up, because I think the problem is that most of us are running into is at some point we get good enough from a consistency standpoint where we're generating leads on a consistent basis. The problem is when we generate a lead, who knows what happens to it? I mean, we got sticky notes all over the car. We got 3 databases. We have Excel spreadsheets. It's a hot mess. So I want to walk you guys through this topic that I've been really thinking about a lot. And I've tried every single database, and I'm going to walk you guys through the lead follow-up methodology that I have used and give you my recommendation on the best system to use. Okay, we're going to talk about CRMs. We're going to talk about follow-up system. We're going to talk about what is a lead to begin with. So that's a good place to start. So to me, here's what a lead is and what a lead is not. What a lead is a homeowner, and we're specifically talking about lead follow-up on the listing side of the business. Okay, we're not talking about the buyer side of the business. So to me, this is a homeowner who tells me over the phone or at the door, through text, through a message, through a meeting, through an event, that they're looking to make a move. They want to sell their home. They have a specific time frame in mind. They don't have another real estate agent that they're obligated to do business with. And so they're open to the idea of giving me the opportunity to earn their business, which is massive. And they have a plan of where they want to go. All right, so to me, that is what a lead is. I think the biggest problem is most of us are stuffing whatever system we're using with people that I would not qualify as a lead. Now, on the flip side, I just used a trigger word, and I don't want to confuse you guys, okay? Because I just made a video a couple weeks ago talking about the worst advice I've ever gotten in real estate. So what overqualifying a lead looks like is that whole piece of advice where if the prospect isn't ready to sign a contract in 7 days, you throw away the lead. That is complete irresponsible advice to give to people and to take, quite frankly. So we don't want to overqualify a lead. Why? Well, because all the studies, all the stats have shown us that people start thinking about selling their house months and months and months before they hire a real estate agent to list their home. And number two, all the studies, all the stats also suggest that people list their home with the first agent they meet with. So if they start thinking about selling their home months in advance and they're gonna hire the first agent they meet with, it only makes sense that we meet with these people as soon as we possibly can in their journey to selling their home. So that is what a lead is. I don't want to make the whole video about that. I want to make it about follow-up. So once I find someone like this and I have a lead, now I want to get into the CRM conversation. What is the best CRM? What is the best system to use in order for you to stay on top of your leads so you're not losing opportunities to other agents that maybe have a more organized system, which I'm going to give you in this video? And the problem is with most CRMs is out of sight, out of mind. So I've used them all, right? I've used Follow Up Boss. I have used I've used so many. KV Core. I've used Brivity. I mean, you could just name them, and I probably have used it. Okay, and recently, okay, I made a video about Vulcan 7 being the only CRM, the only real system a real estate agent needs. And I believe that this is a system that has served me even better than that. And so I used to talk about this quite a bit. And I think it's really, really critical that I come back to the basics, because this is what served me. And I just want full transparency on this channel. What served me in my lead follow-up is no CRM at all, because it's out of sight and you have to log into some piece of technology. You have to remember to log into the technology for the technology to remind you to do this thing, to do that task. It gets overwhelming and things start falling through the cracks. At least that was my experience. This is the system I'm going to walk you guys through that has proven time and time again, not only for me, but all the agents that I coach. It helps them get more clear and more results through lead follow-up. Here's how it works. It's my folder system, okay? So you can't get any more basic than this, because I believe simplicity scales. And the more complex your business is, the higher likelihood of things falling through the cracks or you getting overwhelmed and you losing opportunities. So unlike other educators, I will call them, in our industry, that constantly are, get this and get that and all these shiny objects. It's like every piece of content they make, it's like they want a new tactic, a new strategy, no. I am all about executing on the fundamentals. And the people that are succeeding at the highest level simply do that. And so let me walk you through my folder system. When you generate a lead, here are the categories in which these leads can fall into. So category 1 is what I call a hot lead. A hot lead is somebody who has the ability to set in a face-to-face appointment, a home selling consultation, a discovery meeting with you any day. And when you were over the phone, for whatever reason, you couldn't get the appointment on that conversation, so you hang up and that becomes a hot lead. That hot lead needs to go into your hot lead folder, a manila folder. Get it from a drugstore and it should say hot leads on it. That thing should travel around with you in your car, like where I'm at right now. That thing should be in your car with you at all times. A little nugget for you is make your last activity of the day, when you're driving home from work and you're heading home for dinner, grab your hot leads folder, make those the last contacts for the day, and you'll be surprised at how many appointments you can set with the last contacts of the day. That hot lead folder needs to be touched, looked at, called, text. At least you need to look at every single lead in that folder every single day between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. during your follow-up time block in your calendar. So that's category number 1. Category number 2 is what I call warm leads. So these are homeowners that I have great conversations with. They're just not yet ready to meet with me. I made a video on sales pipeline earlier this week on the channel. Go watch that if you missed it. And I talked to all of you guys about conversion timelines, the average conversion timelines per lead. So with a for sale by owner, it's 60 days. An expired listing is 30 days. An absentee owner might be 90 days. A circle prospecting might be 180 days. So on average, 90 days or so to get a conversion. Those are what I call warm leads. This is a homeowner I talked to. Great conversation. They're open to the idea of potentially meeting with me, just not right now. So I put them into my warm follow-up folder, and that folder gets a phone call. Everyone in that folder gets a phone call every single Monday moving forward for the rest of the time, okay? And that is the folder that is responsible for the majority of the appointments. That folder should get very thick, very fast, okay? Should be your biggest, that should be the living, breathing pipeline. The third category are what I call seller nurtures, okay? Seller nurtures are homeowners that tell you they want to sell, okay? It's the same definition of a lead that I gave you at the beginning of the video. Their timelines are just pushed out 6 to 12 months or more in the future. So we have to have a plan for those, right? Sometimes people start thinking about moving a year or two in advance, right? Happens all the time. I think you would say that's fair. We have to have a plan for those. They don't just go in the garbage, because a year is going to go by, and I hope you're in the business in a year. And in a year from now, if you follow up appropriately, wouldn't it be nice to have like a come list me because you've been following up over time, earning the business? Here's another nugget. I believe follow-up is the beginning of the interview process. So how you nurture that lead between the time you talk to them and the day you're meeting with them is part of the interview process, and that seller's processing. Can we see ourselves hiring an agent like this? Yes or no? Because that first meeting increases your likelihood of getting the listing. Okay, so a seller nurture, what's going to happen? You're going to have a folder for every month of the year, January through December. And when you hang up that phone call or you leave the door and they say, yeah, we're looking to sell later this year or after fall or after school or after the holidays, whatever the time frame is, put them into that folder for that month, okay, that they tell you. And that every folder for each month needs to be touched on the first Monday of every single month. Okay, that's the third category. And then the fourth category is a delete category. So if you're talking to prospects, this is probably, about 90% of the time, listen closely, if you're still with me, 90% of the time, you're gonna have no lead. It's gonna be a conversation that goes nowhere. It was someone that was rude, unreasonable human being, which most people are, super unreasonable. So you're gonna delete it. It's gonna come out of the database. It's gonna come out of whatever your prospecting system is. We're just gonna simply delete that lead because your contact to lead generated conversion is about 10%. Okay, I just walked you through one of really three things that can happen with the 10% that you're talking to. The 90% is delete. Don't force people into your follow-up system, because here's what happens if you do. You're going to ask me questions. Well, how do I follow up with, this guy when he said this, or I lost this opportunity to another agent. What could I have done differently? I made a video on my Instagram yesterday on how to generate a lead when you hang up a phone call the correct way. Go watch that video if you didn't see it. I'll make another video here on YouTube about that specifically. But the simpler you can keep this entire follow-up system, the better it's going to serve you. And so now you've got these manila folders that are nice and organized. And the key thing is to match what I told you earlier on when to call people in this database or in these folders. The key thing is you want to have your calendar, whether you use Outlook or Gmail, that calendar, you want to have a time reminder. That's the mechanism in which reminds you, oh yeah, let me go grab the warm lead folder. And you get excited for that because you see it on the calendar all week. Don't leave it up to some piece of technology that you have to remember to go log into to then remind you to call Bob. It's not going to work. It won't work as well. Trust me, when you have paper lead sheets and you're having conversations that you're having through Vulcan 7, you're filling out a paper lead sheet, okay? Your mind is going to, number one, remember the conversation a lot more than if it's stuck in some CRM, some place where you hit a button. And so you can just write out a specific, all the information on the lead sheet, put that actual physical piece of paper in the appropriate folder, and then let time be your best friend. Because when you start to see these folders start to add up with the pieces of paper, now you know you're building a pipeline. And that is all your future revenue. And remember, don't stuff those folders with prospects that are not leads. So hopefully this serves you. I know it's a video that you guys have been asking for a long time. Let me know what questions you guys have in the comments about any clarity I can give you on the strategy, and I'll be happy to get back with you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Appreciate the time, appreciate the support.